Welcome everyone to the latest edition of the Inside Track podcast. Got a fabulous guest this morning, Chris Leare. How are you?
I'm fine, man. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Now, we were just talking earlier about you're getting up really early for this. I really appreciate that. Out in Canada, selling the bag. Now, you're obviously the founder of the 55, which I'll let you go on and explain what it's all about. But probably the best way to start is give people a bit of an idea of your background, because you don't really come from the fitness industry originally. So it's nice to get a bit of a background, because that sort of feeds into where the bag come from, really.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, so basically joined the army in 1994 from down in Plymouth, so Jana land, and went into the military. But you said I didn't really come from a physical background. I knew what I wanted to do when I joined the military. I knew I wanted to be a PT. I saw a couple of documentaries back in the early 90s and stuff. So that's what I wanted to do. And that's the path I took. Well, join the infantry, because you can't join as a PTI. You have to earn your way up there. And joined in 94, did my first PTI course in 1999, and transferred across. We did first course in 1995, and the second course in 1999, and the third course to transfer into the Royal Army Physical Training Corps in 2003. It's been a quick sweep through my military career. We'd be here all day if I was talking about 24 years worth.
I'll tell you what's amazing though, Chris, in terms of the training you guys get in the military to set. I mean, obviously they want the best of the best, don't they, in delivering the training? But I can imagine you're one of the best qualified trainers around because of that experience. I mean, I find the guys from the military, when they come out, their skill set is exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, they depending on what you do. I mean, PT is iterative, isn't it? Something comes in fashion, something leaves fashion, something comes back in, someone wants to do this again. The military are now gone really scientific and behind the ways of training, which is absolutely perfect, in my opinion. It keeps people healthy and keeps people fitter. But what I found was the science was coming back in, but the old-fashioned training techniques were coming back in, and you're like, who'd have thought with something we were doing at the end of the Second World War, we're doing again now? So again, it's iterative. I mean, to say I'm highly experienced in the realms of physical training and taking people on PT sessions and writing programs. Yeah, I am. I've done a degree in strength and conditioning as well, just because I wanted to have that on my name.
Yeah.
And then the MOD does. Well, it depends on what sort of person you are. I'm quite a creative person, and I'm always looking for better ways of doing things, and that's where this came from.
and we'll come on to that, because it's a fabulous piece of kit, and what's great about it, it's so simple.
Yeah, it's and often, as you well know, Ryan, the most simple designs are the best ones, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you only have to look at things like the TRX, obviously your bag, things like that. And when you go back to nuts and bolts, the muscles only work in a certain way. And if you can produce something that's easy to carry around, easy to adapt to what you want in your training, then you're onto a winner, aren't you? So do you want to explain to some of the listeners in terms of what the bag is, how it works, where it's come from?
Yeah, it's kind of you speak to. It's just funny. So I was in Good Life Gym yesterday, up in it's called Richmond, up in part of Calgary, and was speaking to the gym manager, just having a normal conversation. And she said, "Oh, well, what is it?" And so I explained it to her, and you can see the look on the perplexed look on someone's face. They're like, "This is a bit, I don't get it." So sometimes 9 times out of 10, I've got to. Have you got a cat behind you there?
Yeah. Sorry, we've got a new kitten, and he's having his moment.
All right, sorry, digressing.
Oh, sorry.
So I had to go in, show her the bag. And she went, right, I get it. Now I get it. Yeah, so in essence, I can take it down from here and show if you want. I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to be videos going to be shown or anything like that. But in essence, for people who are into their physical training, if you can imagine a power bag, and the power bag rolls out and rolls up, and inside there's 4 compartments, and inside each compartment you've got a weighted insert, which you can pretty much unroll the bag, take it out, throw it to the side, zip it back up, carry on with your workout. The inserts now, again, iteration through the product, come with a clip now. So like an old canoe bag, you roll it down 3 times, clip it, and it goes back into the bag. So it is actually now, whenever anyone purchases a bag, even if you purchase it fully loaded or you purchase it empty, it's in essence the same product. You're paying for the sand and paying for the delivery. You can just empty the sand somewhere, roll it up, and put it into your travel bag wherever you're going. And this is why the MOD are buying these in absolute droves now. Since the last time we just spoke, on there's absolutely loads of these going out the door. We've got the PES testing bag as well, and because it's progressive and regressive, it means that people can remain injury free. You can mix up your training. All the 30 workouts we've got, the army have taken now, and the PT Corps are putting their little stamp on the workouts.
I bet that's great for you as well, because you can obviously take what they're doing and feed it back into your training plans that you push out into the gyms and the personal trainers.
Yeah, I mean, we launch. We're working out that I put 30 workouts together. I took the 30 workouts of the 100 that I'd made, and went, these are the ones in my opinion as an expert, as a professional, as a person who invented this kit. These are the 30 best ones, but that's my opinion. And it's like we've got a couple of great ambassadors now who have started in training with a bag, and they're starting to make good sales and make good progress on their Instagram and on their TikTok and social media. So the bag itself is for everyone. It's not just because I designed it for soldiers, because I was a serving soldier at the time and I thought it was a good idea. But what we're finding now is, you've got CrossFit boxes. We do a bespoke package for CrossFit boxes. We've already equipped CrossFit Telford.
Wow.
And they're absolutely loving the bag itself, because there's no bars involved anymore and people clunking and flicking plates around and stepping over stuff. You got a bag. If you're doing an exercise and you can't, and you're starting to struggle with your form, can unravel the bag, take an insert out, and you can carry on again.
I think that's the versatility of it. And when you look at, especially the trend at the minute is obviously a lot of small group training facilities. They're not massive clubs. Space is a premium. What you don't want to be having to have is, because back in the day before, I mean, you still get them now. You just get all those bags and they're all on a big frame. These things just don't. You know what I mean? And the other great thing with the training is you can adapt it for everybody. So you have. Everybody can have a bag and you can just change the weight really easy. So I obviously clearly don't lift the same as you, Chris. You know what I mean? So I'd have a different weight than you, but it's really easy. Just slide out slide out one of the pouches, and suddenly now I've got the bag that's suitable for me. And I'm still doing the same exercise, still doing the same training, but I don't have to go and try find a bag that's probably not there because someone else has got it, and all that stuff. The flexibility of it is massive.
Yeah, pretty much. You get the nail on the head there with those 2 statements. The space that it saves. Jason Hanlon in CrossFit Telford, the space that he saved is absolutely unbelievable. He said, 10 of your bags, he goes 4 bags in one. He said, I've got 10 of them. So, he said, and this is this amount of space that they've taken. And then the next comment that you've made is, I designed this, invented it all those years ago, like 14 years ago. And I designed it to be a personal piece of equipment to somebody. It means something to somebody. This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. That famous quote from Full Metal Jacket. And that's what we wanted to have the mindset with. But also when it comes to like you said, a collection of people in your gym, and you can do a training bag session. Someone who's an absolute warrior can be at the front with 25 kilos, 20 kilos, and then someone who's pretty sedentary, who's just come into the gym starting to work, can do it with 5 kilos and stand next to the person who is an absolute machine at doing things, and it levels the playing field for everybody. There's not anybody who would feel embarrassed. And that's the other thing that we're finding as well. We're finding a lot of groups and people that are PTs and experience, and overweight people, and diet plans and coaching and stuff, that we're getting quite a lot of sales through that. and because people don't want to go to the gym, you know, and
Yeah.
the gym is an intimidating place to be. We know that, and not everybody likes that environment, so people would prefer to train at home, and that's we're making good ground on that. And one of our ambassadors is really opening up that area, and she's doing really well.
Well, especially if you look at the growth in online PT, for instance. And you sort of got a lot of these people won't be then going to a gym. They'll be getting the advice from the trainer, but they'll be training at home. And,
Yeah.
and you just think being able to either ship one of these pieces of kit out to them, and
Yeah.
and it's not taking up much space in their house. They're able to train at home in their lounge and still get a great workout. And I think things like this we need to move the dial on the 15% that go to gyms, and we need to sort of say, well, okay, those 15%, maybe we move that to 20, but what about the other 80? We still need to get them exercising, and I think they need the tools to be able to do it. And over the years, it's been exercise videos, hasn't it? Trying to do aerobics in your lounge and stuff like that, and it's just not practical. We all know that. And the same, you can't have your own. Not everybody can afford their own gym at home. I mean, I had my own gym and kept some of the kit, and I've got it in my cellar because it takes up so much space to store where I want to train that you just don't do it. And a bag like this can easily sit in the corner, sit behind the sofa. Sit, you know what I mean? You're not having to worry about it. You can drag it out. Right, we're doing a training session, and you can do everything with it. It's not restricted in terms of upper body, lower body, different muscle groups. You know what I mean? It's very much an all over body workout. You can do everything with it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we went to CrossFit Telford, we went up as just for a visit. So Jason had got them in, put them on the side, and then we've come up, and he's turned around and said, "Got 10 people coming in. They're all yours." So we picked out workout number 18, put it on the board, met everyone who came in. That was a lovely load of people. They all came in and said, "You know, we'll introduce you to our 55 training bag." So yeah, we've seen them, we're wondering what they are. And of course, it's quite funny because you got them all out. And so it's like, what you do is unroll your bags. They're unrolling it and they're looking and going, "Oh, this is good, isn't it? This is good. Oh, wow." I said, "Yeah, just throw it to the side, roll it up." "Oh, wow, well, this is good. So this is like 4 bags in one." I'm like, "Yeah, it's 4 bags in one. It's progressive and regressive, so you can choose your own workout." And so, "But I could just put 1 kilo in here." Yes, you could. So if your rehabilitation, you've been injured, you're coming back, you know, you ask someone who's completely sedentary and just wants to start training again and starts, you know, you can use the bag itself just to get used to it. So it was selling itself. And of course, we'd taken the lesson, um, well, 55 session number 18 it was. And at the end of it, they were all like, all start walking out, like everyone's like really tired, sweaty, like high emotions and all that, and everyone's really happy. And you know, the amount of about 3 or 4 of them come up and said it was absolutely phenomenal. It just goes to show that you genuinely don't need a gym. You don't need, you know, who can afford a 20 kilogram Olympic belt or a bar? Who can afford all the plates? Where are you going to store them? What are you going to do with it? You know, and it's, you know, that we're just working out now, and it's funny. So the military, you know, was the main reason I invented it, because I was in and I knew what we didn't have. We had TRX, that's fine, but anchor points, how to use the TRX properly. And you know what?
Yeah, well, I can imagine it's quite difficult in the middle of the desert. I'm sure on the basis it's all right, but trying to find a somewhere to anchor a TRX can be quite an interesting thing. It's all right if you're in the jungle, you got a tree, but in the middle of the desert, there's not many things to hang a TRX off.
Yeah, normally in the hide on the side of the vehicle, but as good as the TRX is, and it's a fantastic piece of kit. There's another good piece of kit out there called the Recoil. Bob Bowles did that. He's an ex squaddy. That's a really good piece of kit as well. But you know, for me, it was, I need something that mimics what I do and what soldiers do on a day-to-day basis, and that is lumping up, picking up sandbags, moving stuff around. And then the iterative side of it in my mind, once I designed it, was right, that's what I want, but how do I, you know, how do I take this first piece in my mind and put it together?
Yeah.
And it was coming back in after a patrol and opening my rifle cleaning kit. and they used to. I'm sure they do now. I had a rifle cleaning kit for a few years now, but it just pulled it, opened up, and it just rolled out, and it rolled back up. And I went, "But I've got this four compartments inside," and my mum made it out of a pillowcase, the first prototype.
That's mad.
Yeah, so I just went home because my mum's a seamstress dressmaker for my younger sister. I used to do all this disco dancing stuff for the glittery costumes. So my mum was always on the sewing machine. Yeah, so my mum was always on the sewing machine. So I just said, "Mum, can you make this for me?" Like 5 minutes later, boom, there you go. And you know, it's what was brilliant is it was the nonchalance in which my mum did it. Like, now there you go. On to the next thing. Not thinking that it's like in 13, 14 years it's going to be an absolute global brand.
I was going to say as well, you're thinking, oh, I've had this idea, all the science that you've thought about and everything else, and she knocks it up in 2 minutes and go, there you go, crack on. Oh,
yeah.
It's sort of anticlimax in a way, isn't it? You're like, I'm sure there's more to it, surely.
She would have no idea that it'd be an absolute global brand now, you know, and people are starting to, big companies are now starting to look at us now and say, these are serious players, and you know, we haven't quit. And honestly, Ryan, the journey itself, you know, designing the equipment and the bag for me on my own, because that's all it was, me on my own. That was easy. You know, the initial tough sort of tough stage was trying to explain it to the main fitness company that I went to, because this idea is in my mind. I had some CAD drawings done. The CAD drawings weren't great. Didn't really explain it. And then they took it and went, "Is this what you mean?" I went, "That's exactly what I meant. That's it. Brilliant. Thanks very much." You know, and then we've gone forward from there. But the hoops that we've jumped through as a company, and the way that I met my business partners, was three of us. One John, one of the first one, John, I know he's a managing director. He does all the amazing work in the background and runs with figures and all this sort of stuff. I met John for the first time probably back in 2013, 2014, when I've only just invented it.
Wow.
And we've been friends ever since. And during COVID, whether it was after at-home training equipment, these bags, we had some surplus left over from years ago. We sold them out the door, and then we started again. And then it was a post on LinkedIn, and it's weird how these things happen. There's a post on LinkedIn, bloke I'd never met before. Started to view some of the posts, and had a phone call from an army friend of mine who was still serving, and in fact he was out, and he said, "Mate, have you noticed that someone's got a message on LinkedIn or something?" No, he said, "There's a guy called Gareth Goffin, and he's an investor, lives in London, runs BMF classes and camps and stuff. He's interested in your product." And I met Gareth in Frimley Park car park. Sounds a bit dodgy, but it was nothing like that, because it was during COVID, and you could travel to see your kids. So I went up and met him and threw the bag across the top of the car. He's looked at it, and basically he's come on as an investor and advise where we go and what we do. You know, and Gaz and John have absolutely turned this fledgling company, which I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And John was the same, didn't have a clue. I had a rough idea, had a better idea than me, but the person that put it all together and molded it all and built what we've got under his guidance and advice was Gareth. And what you've seen over the last 3.5 years is John now being an absolutely formidable managing director. Got vision, passion. He's always had the passion, you know, and vision of where we're going. The websites, you know, the product itself, our manufacturing, and then it was getting the MOD contract, which.
Well, I can imagine that's I mean, the great thing about that is it just puts you on a nice footing, doesn't it? That everything else then can build on, because you've got this real solid client.
Yeah, and that's
behind you.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think that, as used by the British forces, would entice people to buy it. It's not the way it works. And actually, the MOD market first is quite small. I'd say just the Army's quite small. The Navy and the RAF, completely different ball game. But we've got a couple of big, really huge, actually, potential contracts on the table, which would be absolutely massively life changing and altering for the company itself. And then, of course, the big one, I'm over here in Canada at the moment, and we've got the US patent, trademark and design protection for the US. So,
I was going to say, well, if you get in the US military, their bank balance is quite quite
yeah,
significant, isn't it? So that'd be a nice one to club on.
yeah, and do you know what? We will as well. It's not a question of if we will. It's getting in front of the right. It's getting in front of the right person and chatting to the right person, or the right person, just to listen to a podcast, go onto the YouTube, to look at the YouTube channel, which we're slowly building, on the Instagram, and then someone going, actually, these are used by the British, and this is my best one yet. We've sent 30 of those to the SAS.
Oh wow!
So when you got the SAS using your product, it's pretty humbling, to be honest. And I'm like, wow.
I think the amazing thing is, and this is to all the British servicemen, we have such a great reputation around the world as a strong military. I mean, it's obviously not as big as it was and stuff like that, and I'm sure there's always challenges, but we do have huge respect around the world. So I think that's great for you, because if they're using your product, it's almost going, right, the elite force in the world is using it. And especially with the SAS, I mean, you can't get any more elite than that, can you, really?
No.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I think the oppos, like the SBS as well. Again, it's all these orders that are coming through. The orders that are coming through are at the moment sporadic.
Yeah.
Because what we can't do and what the MOD can't do, or what we can do, but what the Army can't do, is the Army can't say, we've got this fantastic new product, you need to buy this. The Army can't do that. We've gone through the commercial space. We've put it into Leidos.
Okay.
We've won the contract that's come in. And the ones that are being sold at the moment are the ones that people know that the product exists. And as more people see it, I mean, for example, we've also sent 20 to the Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst. Now, serve to lead, that's where they train the officers. The officers come in, the officers have introduction to the kit, they use the kit. They finish Sandhurst, go into the field army and say, you know what, at Sandhurst we had these bags called the 55, and they're completely deployable. You can put them in your kit, and you can train wherever you go, empty it and come back again. So it's, as it comes for PR and marketing and letting people know we've got it, we have to do all that ourselves. And actually Leidos, that's fine. Why would the Army do that? They don't need to. It's up to us to make sure that people know that the product's out there. And
it's always the challenge, isn't it, with a new product, because people are so used to going, no, it's that we train with. And obviously you guys are coming in as the disruptor, basically, and going, actually, you don't need that, you just need this.
And it's interesting because obviously we're still speaking to people who are serving within the military, because they order the training bag from us. But a guy was talking to me the other day and he's gone, you don't need all that, you just need this. Genuinely, you don't need anything else. And this guy's serving, he's a professional, he's gone, this is just it, you don't need anything else, you genuinely don't. But it's, if the right people say it, then it turns out to be a bespoke product and a standalone product on its own, which it is, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. But I think there's a huge market for that in the functional training space. So all these small group training facilities, or it might be less so in the bigger gyms, not because of the product, but just because they like to fill their space. So they'll have all the bag.
There's definitely that. I mean, the gyms over here are absolutely huge.
Yeah. We were speaking to some of the guys, Richard Sinnott and some of his mates, and their big athletics clubs are just they make David Lloyd probably the biggest clubs over here, aren't they, in terms of floor space? Yeah. And they make David Lloyd look like some small group training club. Some of these, you know what I mean, with like 10 basketball courts and 30 tennis courts. So 2 or 3 pools. They're just unbelievable facilities. Some of the ones in America, and they have like 20,000 members. It's just absolutely bonkers. But it is a product that can go in any club, but the fact that functional training is taken off so big in the last sort of 5 years, I think a product like this is just set to explode. I think if anybody's watching this, and that's the sort of club they're either looking to set up or they've got, this sort of equipment is exactly what they need for all the right reasons.
I mean, so inside it's just a great product, and so I'm going to say it's my product. You know, and I've championed it, and I've put my whole life savings behind it. I've been married twice and had 2 kids since I invented it, and it's still here.
Wow.
It's the only thing that's hanging around still, apart from the kids when they want money. But you know, yesterday I'm over. Like I said, I'm over here in Calgary, in Canada, and me and the girlfriend who's come along with me, went to get some training footage, and I'm like, well, come on then. So we threw the bag in the back, drove up to Canmore, took a left, went right up into the Rocky Mountains.
Oh, wow.
Found a lake. I said, right, well, just jogged down from the car. So we just jogged down from the car, got to the lake, filled up 3 inserts. I didn't want to go 4 inserts because it was like rocks and shingle and stuff, and probably the bag would have weighed about 40 kilos, and I'm not up for any of that. So we weighed about 18 kilos, and we went through. We didn't pick up on the workouts. We just said, right, what we'll do is we'll do ground to overhead, clean and press up, squats, front back squats, and we'll do 6 sets of 10 reps on each exercise, and that's what we did. And I
bet the photos are amazing, aren't they, with the mountains and the water behind and everything else?
Oh yeah, the scenery is just amazing. And then we've just gone, emptied it, rolled it up, off my shoulder, and ran back up. And there was a couple walking the dog, and they stopped us and said, "What's that?" And I told them. They said, and the guy told me, "I told you that's what they were doing down there. I told you that's what he was doing." He said, "That's really clever." I was like, "Thanks." And then
I tell you what, it beats it, because I can remember the first video that I saw, and I think I dropped you a message. I think that was LinkedIn, and you're in a park, showing it off, and so it goes to show where you've come from a local park from where you're from to the Rocky Mountains and beautiful scenery in the background.
Yeah, all because, you know, I mean, it's twofold. I'm over here seeing my daughter, who's 5 in a few days' time, but you know, we have got the business over here. The business is running, it's functioning. The managing director, the head of the US, is over here now. So, and we're just starting to make slow gains. But you know, it's for us. It's as soon as the military see it, the US Army, the US Marines, anything like that, I know what's going to happen. I know. So I genuinely not worried. You could call that. It's not arrogance. It's confidence. I'm certainly not an arrogant person. Anyone who knows me will tell you that.
No, you're certainly not that from what I know, and everybody who knows you. So,
but confident in what.
But it's exciting, though, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, Chris, it's like they say, no one actually is an overnight success. When you see an overnight success, it's usually got 10 years, 15 years of build up. And that's exactly what your story is. You know what I mean? You started this a while ago, and it's taken its time, and you've got it right. But now it's about to explode, and you know what I mean? You deserve all the success.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. It's the, you know, I wouldn't be where I am for William the Gaz and John. Certainly not. And some of the people that have helped me along the way, who want to remain anonymous, you know, and I've got to tell them, I've got to thank, you know, generally I've got to thank both my ex-wives, because it's been a long journey, you know, and they both were fully supportive, and the kids as well. And then the girlfriend I've got now, current girlfriend, is absolutely phenomenal. You know, she's actually in all the photos at the moment. So it's her. If you see any getting pinged across LinkedIn or anything like that, it's her with a little pineapple haircut in the air. That's her who was in the Rocky Mountains with me, taking photos and doing demonstrations and stuff. So yeah, it's just a really
exciting time, and just from your point of view, from being an entrepreneur coming out of the army and everything else, if there's people watching this and going, actually, I've got an idea, what sort of advice, any advice you'd say to those people to pursue their dream?
I mean, it's one of those things. It's one of those things in it. You get this idea like I did, and everyone will be the same. Like, oh, what do I do now? You know, and the first thing's the psychological thing that you're thinking in your own mind, that you've designed something in your own head, which is pretty special, right? That's a special thing to have, as a special gift to have. But the first thing I would do is, and I mean this, and I had this on my fridge, is go and write your goals down, right? Short, mid, long-term goals. Get them on the fridge or somewhere where you see them every day. Everyone goes in the fridge, don't they? It's on the front. So I put mine on the fridge, and then from there, I'm one of these people, and this is a mindset that you've got to have, and think about creative people are quite like this anyway. Why create something in your own mind if you're not going to follow it through? So you got to have the absolute discipline to drive it through to its finish line. Some things happen which will stop that. So, for example, all the psychological stuff and all the, you know, the sayings, you know, to feel it in your hand, you got to see it. You know, dreams. You know, you've got to go and get it. It's not going to come and get you. And all these simple sayings, that's fine, but they can be absolutely vetoed by something like you've designed something. You go to the patent office, you pay for the IP or the patent search, somebody's already done it, right? That's like whoosh, flames on your fire straight away. Like I say, that there is so simple, so simple. I've just taken I've taken a power bag and I've made it better. But the bag itself didn't come off me using a power bag or a design from a power bag, or any of these other training bags that are out on the market. It didn't. That came as a completely separate item. Although it's, you know, it's a training bag, it's completely different from all the other ones. You know, you've got the big players out there. Go Ruck. That's just, I think Go Ruck are probably the main ones. But he's a veteran. Nothing like ours at all. Nothing like ours at all. You know, and I'm sure if Mr. Go Ruck saw that, he'd be like, wow, that's pretty impressive. I've seen their bags, I've seen what they've got, see what they do, but they don't do what that does. Simple. And you've got a global brand there who have just absolutely outstandingly run their marketing and probably had a much bigger budget than me, Gaz, and John, right?
It usually helps when they've got a huge budget. I know so many companies, and you look and go, it's not actually the best product, but you've got massive budget, so you can push it forward, and everyone then sees it as the best product on the market. And I can name loads that do that.
I'll call it, I'll call that the mackerel effect, right? Because if you've got big marketing and you can make something shiny, all the mackerel swim towards it, and that's what it is. And we've started with just three normal blokes, all ex-squaddies, you know. I know Gaz did probably 4 years. John was an officer, and I did 24. So the core values, respect for others, honesty, integrity, and all that within the company. Is, you know, we've had our little bickers. What company doesn't? But it's all nailed out and down on the table straight away, and we discuss these things, you know, and then we do what's best for the company. And you know, we have, and we are, and it's only going to be a matter of time before we have a really big player turn around and say, interested in that.
Well, that's the plan, isn't it? With all these businesses, is get yourself a multi-million-pound buyout, and then retire. You've got to have your your get out plan or your escape plan, whatever you want to call it. We know what this is worth to. Basically, we know what it's worth globally. We know what the product's worth itself. It's the only one in the world, and it sells itself. There's the best part for me. I mean, people do say they'll look at the price, go, "God, that's expensive." I'm like, well, yeah, but it's 4 bags in one, and that's the biggest hurdle that we've had when people go, "Yeah, it's 160 quid." Well, I can get 2 of them for. Well, yeah, you can get 2 of them, but what do you want it for? If you're just going to leave it at home, then, and you've got a huge house, then go and do that. But if you want, but the point is, they have to have 2 of them for the difference in the weights. It's a bit like when we used to do kettlebell classes at my club. You'd start someone on, say, the 4 or the 6 kilogram, and then you'd have to buy an 8 for them, and then a 10, and then so you end up then, because of their progression, you end up having to buy all this kit, and that's just for one person in a class. We used to run a class of 35 people, so you're having to have all these different variations.
Yeah.
When with that, you don't. So I don't know, 20 kilogram kettlebell, you can be paying up 50, 60 quid. So by the time you've done the 20 and the 16, 14, 12, whatever it is, you probably spent 300 or 400 quid just to have that range for one person, technically. And you sort of go, well, your bag, you don't. It's that one investment, and it's got all those weights. The progression's there in that one bag. So you're not looking to continually keep investing in or having to have a higher stock. You have the one bag.
Yeah, I mean, what we found is not one of these is broken yet. I said the zips inside are an optional extra. I don't use the zips. The zips are always open for me. But the inserts sometimes fray, you know. But that's like a little aid job that you used to do on your vehicles in the military. Light bulb's gone. It was only the insert. I was going to buy a new insert. You don't have to replace the full bag. And there's another quirky design feature about it, that your mass isn't centered in the middle, and once your mass is split, then it all comes out. It doesn't ever do that with this. It's only going to be one of the four. So it's...
And I can imagine, actually, because they're split, it actually protects all of them. You know, because you haven't got all the weight in one bag putting the pressure on. Because it is split, you get better wear out of it, simply because you're sharing the weight, aren't you? You're sharing the weight around the product.
I mean, we've only had one split, and that was on me, because I test everything that we do, you know, and these bags have been tested. They get tested within B Military Fit as well, where Gaz puts them in his parks and stuff. So I absolutely smash them around as well. And this one's about 3 years old. Looks brand new. Wow. I put it in the washing machine yesterday because it was a bit dirty from being in the mountains. There's the other one, Brian. It's just like another quirky feature. If you've got all these bags and you're taking them outside and they're covered in mud and stuff, you can't put a 20 kilogram bag into the washing machine.
Well, I've got some downstairs that I used to do my boot camps with, and they are caked, and you can't clean them once that mud gets in the material, because you're trying to scrub it off with a scrubber. Yeah. Where like yours, you say you chuck it in a washing machine and it does the job it's supposed to do. It cleans it.
I just took the inserts out, fit in the washing machine, 30-minute cycle, tumble dry, job done, brand new.
Absolutely. Like I say, mine are a right state downstairs, so it's one of those things. I haven't done a boot camp for years, so I dread to think what state they're actually in now. But that's really awesome. I guess probably the final question that I've got for you, Chris, is in terms of what motivates you. I mean, obviously you're an incredibly motivated guy. That will partly come from your military background, obviously, but just as an individual, you always come across as really positive, really get up and go, which is an awesome attitude to have. But what gives you that?
I think they say it can develop as you get older, don't they? I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, my grandfather was my biggest like superhero. He was. He still is now. He's been gone a long time now, but he was still, for me. They used to say all these little inspirational quotes, and I don't think he knew he was saying it. I said this to Phil Campion when I was on Phil Campion's podcast. He used to say stuff to me, and I'm like, at that time didn't really make any sense. But as I got older, it started to make sense. I'm going, but you know, he's a Second World War veteran, so he'd been there, seen it, done it all.
Wow.
I don't think he realised how much of a mentor he was, and how much he, to me, made me get up and go and get things. And you know, my mum as well. My mum was like, my mum is an amazing woman, but she wasn't always an amazing woman when I was a teenager. You know,
wow.
Yeah, you know, she used to, you know, I'd be up out of bed doing stuff, and she'd encourage me to think about things and get things better. And then you get a little bit older. I think the drive for success. You're only here once, right?
Absolutely.
I would love, you know, the legacy I've left behind already is a training bag, especially for I've got 4 kids. I've got 4 kids all over the world. To be honest, this is about being a serviceman, right? I've got one who's 19 in Australia.
Oh, nice.
I've got 2 boys in Europe, and I've got a girl who lives in Canada. And for me, it's all all my success and everything and my drive that I've got is for my children more than anything else, and my girlfriend I've got at the moment, and everything, and anyone else I suppose it sounds a bit cliche, but anyone that I love in my life is important. And I think this is a key one as well. If you want to be a superhero, you've got to hang around with superheroes.
Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
a lot of all of my friends, I get energy from my friends. All of them. The people that I don't get energy from aren't my friends. It's really quite simple. Be in a room full
Well,
of
I think
people.
that's how you got to be. And so many people don't know. So many people hang on to those old contacts, which someone said to me once that sometimes people are only in your life for a certain time, for a certain reason. And I
Yeah,
was like, I don't believe in karma and all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
But he put it in a way that it's like girlfriends and wives and stuff like that. He said, you might not necessarily have meant to be with that person for the rest of your life. And that's
yeah,
why people get divorced and so on. And he said, but at the time, they were perfect for you for that moment in time. And
yeah,
and I think that's really important for people to understand. And it's the same with business partners. It's the same with friends. And it's sort of go, you can move on from
yeah.
that when it doesn't quite fit where you're going in life. And I think a lot of people hang on too much with that, and it doesn't help them in
Yeah, I don't.
in,
Yeah, I
in
don't.
the long term.
Yeah, I don't. I don't sit around and idle and fester. And if I'm not happy, then I'll do something about it. And like I say, going back to your question, get up in the morning and go and get it. You don't lie around in bed. Up out. I'm up and out at 6:30, 7 o'clock every morning. Probably sometimes earlier than that. I'll get up, give myself a coffee. I'll sit down. I'll write some little bits and pieces out. I may go for a walk outside and just keep your brain active. But I've always been someone who wants to succeed in life, like massively. I just don't
Yeah.
want to be what they call them, people that follow everyone else, sheeple.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do that. I want to pave my own path, and and my close circle of friends and family members have made that happen for me. Well, they haven't made it happen for me. They've helped me along the way, and I don't
Yeah.
think they really. Yeah, I don't think they really know. I've got good friend, one of my best mates in the military, and he has no idea how much energy he gives me, like at all. He's no idea. I've told him, but he's like, "Shut up, you weirdo." He just doesn't get it. But this is the old psychological side of it, and some people are quite psychologically motivated, and some people aren't. I am. I need to have that energy and that positivity from anyone who comes near me. And if you hang around with those people drive you on forward to bigger and better things.
A-
Definitely.
Absolutely. Surround yourself with the right people. They always say as well. Make sure you're not always the cleverest person in the room, because if you are,
Yeah.
you're in the wrong room.
Yeah. That's never going to happen to me, Ron. Yeah, I'll
But
never
you know
will
what's
do that.
lovely though, Chris, is you're so
Yeah.
humble with it. It's driven, because quite often you get people who are really driven, really, but they're not humble with it. And the great thing whenever I speak to you, there's that humbleness to know where you are and where you come from, but
Yeah.
also that real drive to be successful, to be someone special. And I love that in entrepreneurs like yourself, who know where they want to go,
Yeah.
but it's still fair, it's still normal with it. They haven't got caught up in their own psyche.
Oh yeah. I've
I
never
think
that.
that's what's
I've just say.
so good about you. And then that will come out in your company ethos as well, and how you deal
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I mean, it's when you say we work from the floor plates upwards, and we've all done that. None of us um, within the company have inherited lots of money. No one's had instant success like a lottery win. We've all scraped and scraped and got through, and I've spent thousands and thousands of my own money
Yeah,
getting the company where it is, and we'll reap the benefits eventually. But as for me, you won't ever change who I am. I'm just who I am. Really laid back sort of bloke, and loves to love everybody, and wants to see everyone get success. And I'll help anyone. I generally will. I'll help anyone. If someone's got an idea, they can go onto my LinkedIn, look me up, ask me a question. I'll help you along. I'll show you the process of doing it. And good luck along the way. You know, it's one of those things.
Absolutely, and there's those types of people like you are rarer and rarer these days, and I think it's really important that people like that are still around. So that's really important. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time, though, Chris, because I know it's really early over there. I really appreciate you coming on. Now, if anybody does want to learn more about this, I'll put the link for the 55 bag. At the end of the podcast, so they can take a look. I would urge anybody who owns a club, runs a club, or looking to get into that, whether you're a PT as well, doing boot camps. These bags are so versatile, and it's such a great company to work with that I think they should get in touch. But really appreciate your time, Chris. Obviously, we'll catch up again soon. Enjoy your time in Canada. That sounds amazing. I'm very jealous of the trips to the Rocky Mountain, and we will catch you again soon.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much. Cheers, pal.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah. Bye.